Good evening. In an previous videos, we have covered importance of an authentication. Now we are entering into the enhanced versions of an authentication. So before entering into the enhanced versions of an authentication, we should understand that what is an authentication. Very simple. A person who is attempting, a person who is going to be attempting to log in, he will prove his identity or her identity. That is nothing but an authentication. So in case of an symmetric key encryption method, we know that whenever we want to provide a security to our data, we are going to be providing a key between the sender and a receiver. That is, a shared key is going to be used between a sender and a receiver. So the sender and the receiver, what he does is he takes the plain text and he will apply with the encryption algorithm with the help of a key, and that will be the ciphertext. And when it comes to the receiver side, he will take the ciphertext and he is going to be applying the same key in order to decrypt that message to recover the original plain text. The same way, whenever the two person wants to communicate between the two parties, then so two pair of keys are essential. For example, if the single user want to communicate with a more than one user, for example, the same user wants to communicate with an Amazon, he wants to communicate with a Rediff mail, he wants to communicate with an Gmail, he want to communicate with some other what's called as an server. In such cases, he has to maintain or he has to identify he himself by the more than one varieties, meaning that he should have a more number of keys to be stored, and he has to remember all these kind of an how to store these keys and how to distribute these keys is an biggest this attack or a biggest kind of an problem. So such kind of an problem can be solved with the help of the word called as an different enhanced versions of an authentication protocols. So as I said that these varieties of the keys can be stored and it can be managed. Whenever the user asks that one, it can be retrieved, and this kind of an task is going to be handled by the third trusted party, and that third trusted party is called as an key distribution center, KDC. So this key distribution center is providing an authentication between an n number of the users. So here I will cover that kind of the topic in the next slides. I will demonstrate one of the importance of the key distribution center. In this example, we have an two users, user A and user B. So how these user A and user B will share that keys in order to provide an authentication. So in the first scenario, we have shown with the one number with a circled. So this kind of a message, what it does is it is going to be indicating a message to the key distribution center regarding the information that I am the A, I want to communicate with the B. So A is the identity of an user A and B is an identity of the user B. What it gives a message to the KDC is, so I am having an identification value called as an A, I want to communicate with an user B whose identification is a B. So in this case, what the KDC does is already the A and B are going to be registered and their details are going to be available in the KDC. So the KDC verifies the A and the B, and the KDC is going to be generating a key called as an KAB. So A and B are the two users. For these two users, a common key is going to be generated, that is KAB, and this key is going to be encrypted by using the A's what's called as an operation, and the encrypted key is going to be sent to the A user. And so we have a secret key generated by the KDC, and it will be handed over to the A in an encrypted format. Similarly, in the third message, what it does is KDC is going to be distributing the same shared key to the user B in an encrypted format of his own key called as an B. So in this way, the key distribution center, whenever the two user wants to communicate, it will generate the key, and the keys are going to be distributed to the respective communicating parties. So now we have some problem called as how this KDC can generate such kind of an common keys between the two users. So here the KDC is divided into the two ways. One is it can use this kind of a KDC can perform the work by using an Needham Skorder protocol, and another one is it is done by the Kerberos. So now we Needham-Skorder protocol, it is working on the concept of a name called as an mutual authentication. So the mutual authentication is nothing but the client has to identify himself to the server, and in turn the server should be authenticated himself to the client. That is called as mutual authentication. So and the Kerberos, what it does is it is authenticating the client by the use of the third trusted party. So trusted party. So by using the two important what's called as an concept, one is by the authentication server, and one more is ticket granting server. So the these two servers will help to provide an authentication in case of an Kerberos. We will go through these kind of an authentication protocols by using an Needham-Skorder protocol and the Kerberos. Now we will go through the in detail of how the authentication or a key is going to be shared between the two users by using a Needham-Skorder protocol. So here in this case, the communication, there are two important entities. One is A and B are the two users, and the KDC is an key distribution center which is working as a trusted third party to share the keys between an A and B. So how this is going to be communicating means very simple. In the first step, what it does is A is going to be intimating to the KDC that I want to communicate with the B. So which is A and B are the identities of the A user and the B user. So what the KDC does is the KDC is going to be verifying the identities of the A and the B, and it is going to be generating an shared key that is called as KAB. And in this KAB, and also it also does the one more important is it generates some ticket. So that is challenge the ticket is going to be giving an information that A is the user who wants to communicate, and the common shared key which is sent to the A is KAB, and these two informations are going to be enclosed in an encrypted format with the B's key. So EB is equal to EB of A comma KAB. What it indicates is it is an encrypted message containing an information about A willings to communicate with you with the common shared key called as a KAB, and this information is encrypted by the B's secret key. And here apart from that one, a common key which is shared to the B is also shared to the A also, that is KAB in the left side. So all these this information is again encrypted with the A's what's called as an key. So this is encrypted with the A's keys. So what the A does is he will decrypt with the A's key to get an shared key called as an KAB. So initially the KDC has generated an what's called as an secret key, and that key is going to be this accepted by the A user, and whatever the EB of A comma KAB is there, this entire information is encrypted, and the same information is forwarded to the B user, which is shown in the third what's called as a step. So in the third step, what it does is it will send the encrypted information containing an A is the user wants to communicate with this B, and KAB is the shared key, and finally the A is also authenticating itself to the user B in such a way that he will generate a nonce, and that none is called as an R1. This R1 is going to be encrypted by using a common shared key called as an EAB. So in the fourth step, what it does is B user is going to be accepting EB of A comma KAB, and this encrypted information is going to be decrypted, and he will get a certain information called as A is the user wants to communicate with the B, and the KDC is sended an KAB signal or an KAB session key. So and what in turn he does is he will the B user will generate another nonce, and the nonce which is already sended by the A user is decremented by 1, that is R1 minus of 1. So the nonce which is generated by the A is decremented by the 1, and at the same time the B user will also generate another nonce called as an R2, and these two nonces are going to be encrypted by using a common shared key called as an EAB, and it will be sent to the A user. So in the fifth step, what the A user does is he will decrypt that R1 minus of 1 and R2, and R1 minus of 1, what it gives an information to the A is, yes, I have sended in certain information to the B, and B he is the right person who has decremented that value by the 1. So A will identify B is the right user, and similarly he will take that R2 signal, and R2 will be decremented, and it is encrypted by the EAB signal back to the B user. So when the B user decrypts that R2 minus 1, he comes to know that one he has sent in certain information to the A. A has decrypted A has decrypted and decremented that value, and he has sent it back to the B user. So meaning that B will 100% make sure that he is sending a certain information to the right person, so he has sent it and decremented the nonce value. So A is also verified by the B, and B is also verified by the A, so that is called as a mutual authentication. Now in this example we may have a certain kind of an attacks. So one attack what we will see in the next step is, as I have told you, there is a limitation, or there is a certain kind of an attack in the this above what's called as an flow diagram. So when an A and a B are communicating, the attacker X is going to be listening the information, and he will replay that information, or he will modify that information in the next moment. So which is shown by the below figure. So in the below figure, whenever A is going to be sending a certain message that I am the A user, I want to communicate with B user. So this information is going to be captured by the attacker, and what he does is he will modify the content as an A is the user, and he wants to communicate not with the B but to the X user. So which is shown in the 1 dash, and this information goes to the KDC. What the KDC thinks is that A is the right user who is verified by the KDC. X is also verified by the KDC. He thinks that A and X wants to communicate, so he will generate a common shared key called as an KX, and which will be sent one in an encrypted format to the this what's called as an X user. Another one is a common shared key, that is KX, which will be encrypted with the key of an user A. So these two messages are going to be given in a second what's called as an step. So the second step what it does is, A user, he is taking his what's called as an key, and he will decrypt the information, and he will recover only the information called as KX. So this KX is a common shared key, and the encrypted information EX of A comma KX will be directly forwarded to the X user in the third step. So in the third step, the information is going to be forwarded, and apart from that one, whatever the common key is going to be retrieved by the user A, so he will use that key, and he will use that key to encrypt the nonce which is generated by the sender A. So in the third step, what the X is going to be doing is, he will recover the common key from his own what's called as an X keys, and he will get the nonce. So once he get the nonce, that nonce is going to be decremented by the 1, and that same nonce is going to be encrypted with the common shared key which is sent by the KDC. So in the fourth step, what the X is going to be doing is, he will decrement the nonce which is sent by the this what's called as an A user, and also the X will generate his own nonce called as an R2. So R1 minus 1 and R2 are again encrypted by using a common shared key, and it will be sent to the A user in the fourth step. So in the fifth step, what it does is the A user will decrypt the R1 minus 1, and whenever he retrieve that R1 minus 1, he thinks that he has sent an R1 as an certain timestamp to the certain nonce to the X user. X user has returned back R1 minus 1, indicating that A is confirming that X is the right person to whom he wants to make a communication. Similarly, the whatever the R2 is going to be sent by the X user, so the A user will decrement it and he will encrypt and he will send it to the X user in the fifth step. So man in the middle attack, what it does is, it will not be known to the A user also that he is going to be communicating with the B user, and at the same time the KDC is also not knowing that he is going to be sending the data only between an A and the B user, but not to the X. So man in the middle, what it does is, he will act as an server to the client, and also to the server it acts as an client. So whatever the information is going to be modified in the X, it will not be known to the A and also not known to the your what's called as a KDC. So that is called as man in the middle attack. To solve this man in the middle attack, the alternative solution is, if you see in the second step of the above figure, so in this one I have shown with the one circle, that circle indicating the information called as B. So earlier example, there is no information related to the B user, but now we are including. So A is willing to communicate with the B, not with some other user, to indicate that destinator. The B information is also given in an second step. So which is going to be a solution for the earlier example. Even if we use this kind of a solution also, again there is a man in the middle attack, so which is given in the below diagram. You see in the second step, what happens is, the KDC is generating KDC. Once it is going to be verifying that A and the B are the right users who want to communicate, so it will generate some ticket, and that ticket is going to be encrypted and it will be sending back to the A user. At that point, the X is going to be the middle user who is going to be getting the intercepting, or he is going to be interrupting the KDC and gets the information of an KDC. And what he does is, he will forward that information with the not with the same key, but by the another key called as an KAB dash. But in the key which is generated by the KDC is KAB, but the key which is forwarded from an X to the A user is not a KAB, it is KAB dash. So such kind of an KAB dash key, when it is received to the receiver, so receiver or an A user think that the KDC itself has generated a secret key called as an KAB dash, but it is not generated by the KDC, but it is generated by the X user. So again we have the same problem in the other solutions. So to overcome this, we have another operation that is called as Kerberos. So the Kerberos is going to be a different version which is going to be working using the same important features of an Needham protocol, but it is having an additional facilities called as an ticket granting services. So we will see in the next video of this session. So till then, what I have covered is, so importance of using a Needham protocol, how an authentication is generated. So that is covered. If you find any difficulties, so you just subscribe this channel and get a queries with me, so that I will give a solution to these kind of queries to you. Thank you. Have a nice day.